Morning, everybody. Hope you're all fit and well. Obviously, I have to start by adding my welcome to you all here today for this week's conference, and especially again, I'd like to add my welcome to all of our guests, and in particular our international guests. I know everybody else has said it, but I'll say it as well. I think this is a fantastic venue, probably one of the best venues we've been to, which was right and proper for Reggie's presidency to be so close to the place where he is supposed to work. As many of you may know that know me, and others may gather from my strange accent, I was born in Wolverhampton. I had a woo then. Who wooed? That must be Kev Faulkner over there wooing. It's the city where I was raised and where I started my working life in the steel industry. At the same time, I'd like to think of myself as an honorary Welshman. My role with Community and its predecessor union, which was the ISTC, brought me to Wales, and I lived here in Newport, again not far from this very venue, for many years. And I mention that because I wasn't the first person by far to travel the path from Wolverhampton down to Newport. Thousands of steelworkers and their families moved from the Black Country to this area in the early 20th century when the Lysets works was relocated from the West Midlands. You can still see the traces of the Midlands connection today, just down the road from here. If you do venture out into Newport, as Jessica would love you to do, don't go on your own, you'll find Dudley Street, sorry Jess, you'll find Dudley Street, Willenhall Street, Telford Street, and it's well known that the local football club, and I think as well the rugby club, Newport County, adopted the Wolverhampton Wanderers colours of gold and black. And for many years, Lycett's club, known as the Institute, stood proudly opposite the gates of the Orb Works in Newport, and that is where we actually used to hold many of our union meetings. During my time in Wales, I did hopefully develop a real warmth for the people, and I hope that was reciprocated, except on international days when the Welsh get very passionate about their rugby, you probably know, and when they played England, they would probably have gladly killed me. I spent many hours in union offices across South Wales, talking and hopefully listening to our members, and those experiences helped shape the person that I am today. I know as trade unionists we have a reputation for being talkers, but listening and learning from people telling you about their experiences is even more important. And I'd like to think that I brought that approach during my time as General Secretary. Ultimately, I think it's what community is all about too. We stand with each other, we support each other, and we empower each other. Listening to different perspectives and voices from different workplaces and sectors is all the more important in a union which represents multiple sectors across the economy. And here at Community, we really are a broad church. We have teachers, prison officers, self-employed freelancers, charity workers, tanker drivers, steel workers, shoemakers, finance workers, and apologies if I've missed anybody, but you are all very welcome here this week. We're also delighted to welcome a brand new sector into our union, as this year the British Association of Dental Nurses, the BADN, who have a really proud history as a professional association representing dental nurses dating back over 80 years. And we were absolutely delighted that their members voted decisively to merge with Community in a ballot held earlier this year. So to those members of the BADN who are with us and have joined us here today, a very warm welcome from community and our community family. We look forward to working with you to grow and expand our membership and offering support to our dental nurses. Could you all give them a warm welcome? Thank you. When we last gathered together for our last conference in Brighton 2 years ago, we were in the dying embers of the last Conservative government. Those were difficult days for us and the trade union movement. Trying to get meetings with ministers on behalf of our members, or even just to get the government to listen to what we had to say, was an uphill battle. With our Labour government now, that has completely changed. We have open and constructive lines of communication in place with Secretaries of State, Ministers, which enables us to put our members' priorities and concerns right at the heart of government. The biggest difference now is that we do have a government that understands the importance of trade unions in a modern economy, and a government that wants to work in partnership with us to deliver for working people across the country. I'm really proud to sit on the government's Industrial Strategy Advisory Council, making the case for the strategic importance of steel and other sectors and revitalising our manufacturing base. And I also ensure that the voices of our members are heard as I sit on the board of ACAS. Conference, we are a Labour-affiliated union, and we're proud of that. No one will stand here and say that it's been easy 2 years for the new Labour government. We were left with an appalling legacy after long years of Tory rule, something our members in overcrowded prisons, underfunded schools will certainly attest to. And the scale of the challenge has probably meant that the pace of change has sometimes been frustrating. But we have achieved a lot in the 2 years that we've been in power, probably more than the Tories did in the previous 14. We now have an Employment Rights Act on the statute book, a piece of legislation which we at Community were proud to help shape and which is seen over the line in the House of the Commons by our former head of politics, Kate Dearden, and I'm really pleased. I should have said Minister Kate Dearden, but I'm really pleased that Kate's going to be joining us later and we'll be able to hear from Kate. The reforms in the Act make a huge difference to so many of our members, whether that's on statutory sick pay, parental and paternity leave, trade union recognition rights, workplace protection, or tackling fire and rehire and 0 hours contracts. And we shouldn't forget that this union, our union, was the first to take fire and rehire on. We met the challenge down in Street for our members who worked at Clark's. They were dismissed or threatened with dismissal, and then they were going to be re-engaged on totally different terms with losses of pay and rights that they'd fought long and hard for. We took the employers on. We had an all-out strike. We were out for 8 weeks, and many of you, I know, went down to Street. You showed your support. You marched through the town with our banners held high, and we won. It's not just the Employment Rights Act, though. The Labour government have also delivered significant changes in areas that affect many of our members, including saving British Steel from the brink of disaster, tackling late payments for self-employed workers, record investment in heat pump technology through the Warm Homes Plan, and much-needed reforms in education and the early years, from the Best Start family hubs to SEND provision in schools. I've spoken about, I suppose, collectively what the Labour government have done. But I think it's important to recognise the role that our Prime Minister played in driving through these important changes. And I want to pay tribute to him for his work and thank him for his constructive and positive engagement with community and the wider trade union movement. I'm confident that the next leader of the Labour Party and Prime Minister will continue to build upon the good work that Keir Starmer did. It's important that we come together to support that person, whether they hail from Greater Manchester or anywhere else in the UK. Only with a unified labour movement can we achieve the outcomes our members need and deserve. We'd never have got those changes under a Tory government, and we certainly would never have got them if Reform ever get their hands on power. The next time somebody tells you that Mr Farage and his cronies are friends of working people, just remind them one fact. Every single Reform MP voted against the Employment Rights Act at every stage. Reform have openly stated they want to scrap the Equalities Act, stripping away rights for women workers, and we've all seen that Farage, and there's evidence out there, favours an American-style insurance scheme which would potentially do away with the NHS altogether. You can imagine my surprise then last month when Mr Farage put out his video asking trade unions to affiliate to Reform. Mr Farage can keep fishing around his multi-million-pound donations from his dodgy crypto pals, and I can assure you that con man will never get a penny from our union. This week is not only about shaping a strong future for our union, but also an opportunity to recognise what you, our branch officials and activists, do for our union. You are the lifeblood of community, and I really mean that. Without you, this union would simply not exist. Some of the great work you do can be seen in some of the new recognition agreements we've secured since the last conference, from Macmillan Cancer Support in the third sector, Johnson Matthey down in Swindon, Campsfield IRC in the justice sector, and XPO Thurrock in logistics. Our presence is growing, our influence is growing, and our ability to fight for the best outcomes for our members is strengthened. And that's only possible because of each and every one of you. We remain a strong campaigning union too. We've launched new national campaigns in finance and logistics this year, with further dedicated campaigns on the way for the third sector, light industries, education and women's health. We will be driving on and updating our Britain We Need Our Steel campaign and our Keep Us Safe campaign in justice and our early years charter. And you'll be hearing more about that this week, and you'll be having the opportunity to make your views and opinions known on those campaigns. They will ensure our voice is heard loudly and clearly by employers and through the corridors of power. Where in Westminster, I think Jess alluded to it, and thank you, Jess, for heading up our parliamentary group, we have now nearly 100 community MPs. But ultimately, it is in the workplaces where we have to make the biggest difference, supporting colleagues through difficult times, standing together to demand better terms and conditions, and fighting for fairness. That work is often pretty unglamorous and unseen, and I know from many years of my own experience, it can be really challenging. It's that work on the ground, conversation by conversation, meeting by meeting, case by case, that builds up our collective resilience and makes us a stronger union. That ties in with the theme of this year's conference, Strong Union, Strong Future. That slogan is both a representation of where we are and it's our mission for the next 2 years and beyond. We're a growing union and we want to grow further. And that's why we all need to demonstrate our collective strength in workplaces and in our communities. We all have a role to play in that, and I hope this week's conference will energise and enthuse us. We have some important motions to debate, and the policies that you vote for this week will inform our priorities as a union over the years ahead. We also have some interesting fringe events over the coming days, and I would encourage you all to participate in. But just as importantly, and I almost know that I don't need to tell you this, enjoy yourselves. There will be plenty of opportunities over the next few days, refreshment and activities to enjoy, and it's a great opportunity to put faces to names, network with other community members from across the country. I'd like to conclude by wishing each and every one of you an enjoyable conference. Let's work together and build a stronger union with a strong future. Thank you.